Hi guys, welcome to Knives, Axes and Edges. This first episode's all about axes. I'm going to explain to you about two different axes that I've got sat here and each job that these do when we're out in the woods. So without further ado, let's get into it. Right, I bought this axe off a friend who had it for maybe 2 years. He couldn't get on with it. Said it didn't feel right, blah blah blah, so I offered him some money and bought it off him. On closer inspection, this was bought from a company, but under closer inspection we found out why it was doing what it was doing, and I will explain to you now. So after 10 minutes of using it, it was getting heat blisters on his hands, and the reason being, this handle was not smooth like this. It was serrated, it had horrible texture on it, and as soon as I got it, that was the first thing that was going to come off this axe. The second thing was the edge. The edges was rolling on it, the edge was rolling on it really badly, and the reason being, which I'll explain to you, was because it had a polished sort of Scandi edge on it. Now, totally wrong for this axe, and plus it was off to the right, so when he was chopping wood, he was left-handed, he'd hold the wood and chop onto it and get it going. It sometimes decided it wanted to wave about. Wrong way of using an axe, but some people do it that way. But anyway, so first things first, got rid of the ribs on this handle. Nice cotton linseed oil. Perfect, nice and smooth, feels nice now, nice and balanced. The head itself, like I say, had a polished out edge on it. Now, you'd never ever use this for carving. It's too big, it's too heavy, and it's clumsy. It's what I call a clumsy axe. It's for chopping decent sized little logs down into pieces, to be able to use that to knock it down a bit smaller for your fire. Now, having a polished edge on this is just asking for trouble. It's not meant to have a polished edge, it's meant for chopping and splitting, right? The reason why we have it for chopping and splitting is because the sheer weight of the head, when it comes down, I'll automatically put it in. If it's nice and sharp, if it's a knot, it's going to come out. If it's dull but has a slight edge on it, it'll go in and travel down, get so far, and then all you do is just twist it and it'll split it. Now, like I say, the edge was over to the right, so it was wanting to go that way. So what we did, we reprofiled it, got it nice and central, and then I did something a little bit orthodox. Now, I was taught this by my uncle was a knife sharpener. Worked on boats for many years, and they have the same sort of issue with filleting knives because they've got a nice polished sharp edge on them. What happens is they hit the bone and the chip because the edge can't hold and take the abuse. So what happens is you tend to put an axe on a slight bevel, so you'll get it flat and even. And what I did was I run it flat, so if you look down on it, it just looked like my finger. And then what you do, you take it in on a bit more of an angle, of a slight angle, and just do 5 passes each side, right? And that brings it from being a wedge to like that. So what happens is, because it's got a bit of a flat edge on it, it'll go in, it'll stick in, and it'll split. But if it hits a knot, it's going to stop dead. It's not going to want to come out to the side. It's going to stop dead. And it's not going to chip the blade. It's not going to chip the blade. So that's one of the reasons why these axes are meant to be like that. So if you buy an axe and it's got a nice sharp edge on it, dull it off slightly and then put a slightly steeper bevel on it, and they're absolutely perfect. I can honestly say this is not going to cut me in one little way, and I'm going to prove it to you now. And I don't expect people to get their axes out the bags and start doing this. I'm doing this to prove a point and to show you that these axes don't have to have a sharp edge to split wood. It's the weight of the head that does the splitting. Right? So look, nothing on my hands. Nothing. Won't cut me at all, because it's not meant to. Right? So don't go to your bags, get your axe out and start doing that. I'm only doing that because I know it's how it's meant to be. Right? So that's a chopping axe. Then we've got a hatchet. Now, the hatchet is for smaller work. Now, this was made by Long Dog Smithy. Now, he's a blacksmith, beautiful little well-made hatchet, but this is the big but. I've found it's very nice as a carving axe. There's his logo stamped into it, but it's very nice for a carving axe. It'll split, small tinder down, but I mainly use it for removing material when I'm carving my spoons, and I can use it. It's manageable. It sits well nice in the hand. It's well balanced. It's not too heavy either way. It's really nice for carving, but that is a razor sharp edge. Now, every axe should be sheathed to eliminate you cutting yourself. So that little axe there comes out with me when I go to the woods. When I'm doing spoon carving or I'm going to have a fire, I use that for splitting down my wood instead of batoning a knife. So, two different style of axes, two different profile heads. We're looking at a half bell and a full bell axe head. That's how I portray these two. A half and a full. But going forward, when we go to do the second episode on knives, I'm going to explain to you on Scandi grinds and micro bevels and show you how to sharpen a knife correctly, properly, and what stones to use. But these are my two axes that come out with me. Well, this one more than that one, because the job that I do, I work with trees, gardens and stuff, so this is perfect. It goes with me. It's got a belt loop straight on. If my chainsaw gets stuck, I know I can fetch this out, chop it back out and carry on my job. So this is well used, but because it had a Scandi polished grind on it, every time it hit a knot or it just chipped or it rolled the edges. So that is the reason why these axes aren't meant to have a Scandi grind on them. They're meant to have a flat grind, and it's the weight of the head that splits. This, I can bring it down on a bit of wood, it'll go halfway down, and I just give a nice little twist and it comes out. The other issue with this one as well, which I'm going to show you, was it wasn't very put together very well in the factory, and it tends to come loose now and again. But there's a little tip: if your axe head's coming loose, they say put them in water to swell them. Now, I'm going to give you another little tip, and this comes from a tree surgeon who works for the railways. Use antifreeze, because it don't dry out. It'll soak into the wood, it'll expand, and it'll keep it nice and tight. It won't dry out, and it'll protect the wood a little bit. It's just a little tip for you. So join me on part 2 for the knife episode, I'll show you the different edges on a knife and the tools that we use to sharpen them. So like and subscribe and hit that bell button for further updates. Cheers guys.